Hi, I'm Anthony from Learning to Play the Guitar. In this video I'm going to show you how to play the song Maybe I'm a Leo by Deep Purple. This song is featured on their 1972 album Machine Head, which also features their big hit Smoke on the Water. But I much prefer Maybe I'm a Leo due to its slinky guitar riffs and grooves and the great vocal harmonies. First off, the tune starts off with a riff based around the F minor pentatonic scale. And it has a bit of the C minor pentatonic scale as well thrown in. So here we go, starting off with fret 3 here on the D string. We have this little pattern. Again. So got these little bends on the number 1, little quarter bends on the number 1 note there, the A flat, and on the that number 3 there on the B flat. So after that section, it actually plays a similar riff, but it goes down to the C minor pentatonic scale because we have the G note chucked in here as well. So then the C version in bar 3. Again, that little bend, but now on the number 1 E flat note there. And then ending off with the little chromatic B2 note going back to the start of the riff again. So let's play that whole riff all together. So line 1. So that does the same thing all over again. The second time the ending changes from the 1 2 to a 1 E flat with a little quarter note bend again to the B flat before it goes into the verse. So the second version here. So then we go into the verse, which is basically a blues in C with a twist. So the first chord we're going to come across here in bar 1 is a C7 sharp 9 chord, one of these. The Hendrix chord, as he used that in Purple Haze and other songs as well. Here Richie Blackmore is playing it with hitting the bass note 4 times and then hitting the chord on the and after 4. There's probably a hint of a palm mute too on this bass note, so we're sort of keeping things short and separated. So here's bar 1, which actually is the same in bar 2. So we've got so then after that we have this fill riff in between the vocal line, which was over those chords. So we have this little riff again based around the C minor pentatonic scale I mentioned before. A little bit of sliding going on. Chord note bend on the 1, and again number 1 to the B flat again. So then we go to F in the next line here, the next part of the verse, and we're going to go F power chord, but the first hit here is subtly just the bass note, so we're going to go. So that's the first version there with a little down up on the F1 note, hammer on 1 3 on the A string to the 3F. Second version is almost the same, to the number 1 E flat note. Then we have that riff again. And then the end of the verse we jump to G, so the 5 chord in the blues in C that we're inferring here. Little riff there, 3-5-3, then the little melodic rundown. F, E flat, D, C, going back to the root of C. After that there's a 2-beat break and it goes back to the riff again, which is the same every time. So in that second verse, the C is the same. Then the riff. When he goes to F, instead of just going 1, 2, 3, he's going to do this variation. So here's the second variation of F coming up on the screen. So it's going to be 1 and 2 and quarter bend on that thing, and second time's the same. So I'll do the whole thing together. And then you're back to that riff again. Then after the F we go to the G. This is again slightly different to verse 1, the second version in verse 2. Here we have the G power chord and we're going to go little pentatonic type riff there again. And down the scale. And that takes you into the guitar solo. There's two solos in this song. The first one here, placed right in the middle of the tune, is based around the C minor pentatonic scale in a few different positions. So starting off we have a little bit of C minor pentatonic in this position, and then the vast majority of it later on will move up to pattern 1 here. At fret 8. So starting off, we have the big bend here on fret 3, up to the root note. There's a little whammy bar maneuver here, so I'm going to bend it. A little wobble on the whammy bar, nothing too extreme, but just enough to move it. You can hear it on a few of these notes here. And then we're going to slide into a little bit of modal or major pentatonic stuff here, probably really. Going to go 2, slide to the 7, hit the 5. A little half bend, release that like pre-bend, so I'm going to pre-bend the 7, flick off to the 5, 7, 5, again wobble the whammy bar there, then bending back to fret 5, little half bend, pulling off to the 3, 5, 3, wobble that bar yet again, then pre-bend the 5, so we're sort of hitting a 9th, which is the D note. Pull off to the 5, 3, 5, 3, and then bend. And then we're going to, while we're holding that, we're going to pick it again. 3, 5, and then last little bit of this section. Hammer on, and then wobble again that C note. So I'll just play that first phrase again, all around this area with a little dance to the 7 and the 5, hinting at a major pentatonic for a couple of notes there in C. So from the start, 7, wobble, more bar stuff, pre-bend, hammer time. So that's all that section there. Then we're going to slide into a little hinting at a 6th interval, third finger 7 to 9. And then 8, 7, 6 chromatically, that's the 6th interval, chromatically going down to the B flat, and then we've got a little 8. Little tiny double stop there on the 10s, back to the 8. Now we're back into this pattern Wonderland I talked about before for C minor pentatonic with a couple of extra notes, but it's 90% minor pentatonic. So here's this little bit here, a little hinting at the major third, and bending the 11 up. Now we have a steady stream of 16th notes here, all around the C minor pentatonic scale, set for the occasional there's an A note hiding in there as well, adding a bit of jazziness to it or a bit of modal work there. So anyway, here we go. Consistent picking. Half bend. Half bend again. Bending break there on the 11. And I'll continue through to the end, again with some more 16ths. Blues lick there, then 8, and the final bit we have this bending and holding the 11, which is going up to the C note with a bit of staccato-ish sort of bouncing on the note, releasing on the final beat of that bar, and then we have a big 13 bend, sort of extending up sort of a tone and a half by the end, I think. So I'll do all that again. Staccato, bend the 11s. At the end of the guitar solo, there is a rhythm guitar part that re-emerges to go underneath the keyboard solo, which is going to come up now. So getting out of that guitar solo, there's this little chromatic run-up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and starting on the offbeat, leading into C again. So same chords as the verses, but just a little bit different here with a C power chord starting it off. Little dead there, hammer. I'm repeating, but now just the C root note. So a little bit of a palm mute there maybe just to keep it under control. F version, virtually the same thing, but now fret 1 F. Then we're going to go back to C. Then we go to G, very simple power chord, root note stuff. F, C, then chromatic. And that's back to the main riff from the intro. Verse 3, again the same chords but other little variations within how he plays those chords. So again we've got the C7 sharp 9 Hendrix chord happening here again, but now he's going to play it with this idea of... So the way I like to do it is I'm going to pluck the bass note, maybe a little bit muted again, a mini palm mute, just a little bit of pressure to control it so it doesn't ring out too much, and then I'm actually going to pluck the 3-4 there in the tab, as you can see, with my fingers. I'm going to use my middle and ring fingers to pluck those strings here. but you could use your guitar pick. But with the fingers I find it's pretty easy and it's easier to control. Then you're into the riff again. Then we have an F version of that, where we're going to get the low F and the double 4. I'm going to use my little finger down here, and again I'm going to pluck that with my middle and ring finger. Bit of foxy lady really, that's what that is. But you could also get the pick down there too. But it's sort of pretty laid back in the background, so it's not too aggressive. So the whole thing is this. Little power chord variation on the last one. Then riff. Then we've got the G power chord. Two little riff variations there. And then that rundown one more time. So the end solo again is more or less based around the C minor pentatonic scale with an occasional modal note thrown in, but 95% C minor pentatonic pattern again, pattern 1 for most of it. So it starts off fairly simple, some big bendy 11s bending up to the C note. Then continue on. Again, very classic sort of blues stuff here. Then little whammy bar move there on that number 8 E flat note, and that's about it for the whammy bar for the rest of the tune. We'll slide down, and then we jump back to the pattern 1 again. Now blues licks, again this sort of stream of 16ths and a couple of little triplet things thrown in as well as we go through, but here we go. Triplet, 10, the 9th note, the D. I'm going to use these fingers because it's easier to move quick for my fingers. Little 32nd notes really. Ending on a big 11 there, so that's that part. More 16ths getting out of this. Then, breaking out of that pattern, we're going to do a little rundown C Dorian, I suppose. Which is the C minor mode with the D note on fret 7. So here we go anyway. So that number 7 note there in the combo is this 9th note, or you can sort of hinting at the Dorian mode. I might call it Dorian in this case. Then continuing through 5s and 7s, C's and D's. There's that A natural again. Again, this is sort of Dorian mode or C major pentatonic, depending on how you want to label it. Then 3/5, back to that little pattern we had initially in the first solo. Big tone and a half bend here from the root note to the minor third. So we've got this note, but we're trying to pitch all the way up to there. So quite an aggressive bend there. So jumping into the second half of the solo, we have this. So I'm trying to keep that 11 B flat note short, so we're not letting it ring out like you might do in some other instances. Almost at the end of the bar here, we hit this F10 note, then we bend it up. That little holding, picking away on that one note trick again, but just a bit different. Then we're going to jump into the major pentatonic here for a little bit with this combination of 10, 12, 10s. And then we're going to go a little bit country, that's why it sounds countryish, because it's major pentatonic. And we're going to go bending the 12 and this 13 C note underneath. Again, keeping that high note short. And then we've got that little pattern. So I'm going to do that again. there's that little guy. Then we're going to do this little sixth thing with the slide, which was hinted at in the other solo as well, but just a little bit different. Then we're going to go up, back to the Dorian mode scale hint there, and the final little bit as it's fading out is back to the minor pentatonic 16th lick sort of stuff. And some little triplets you can just hear as it's fading out. There, I'll do it again a little bit slower. Subscribe to the Learning to Play the Guitar YouTube channel for more lessons, and don't forget to click on the bell to receive notifications when I upload a new video. You can also check out my books and more lessons at my website learningtoplaytheguitar.net. Thanks for watching and keep practicing.